Hi, hello, and welcome to Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess Gorgeous. I'll be your oracle today. We're live just because it's Ratchet Protocols. We're having a little tiny bit of an issue technologically. Let me check the camera, make sure everything is on screen. Okay. So, please bear with us and pardon the Ratchet Protocols. I need to get this out. Hi, hello, I'm Serene Priestess Gorgeous. I'll be your oracle today. I was sent by the temple to deliberate over the divine partnership energies, more specifically the karmic aspect of the divine partnership energies. And where we're at right now is the Capricorn full moon, okay, in July. That is a partial lunar eclipse. So something according to the soul, according to the subconscious, according to the psyche, according to the authentic self, will be purged. So there's the culmination and release of something according to a soul cycle. So since it's a Capricorn full moon, we'll have the devil in the center. Again, it's the divine partnership assessment, so it'll be 11 by 11. Okay, and on the feminine moons, we talk more to the divine feminine. So Capricorn is a feminine sign, and then it's a full moon, so we'll talk more about the karmic aspect. Like the new moon, we'll talk about the divine twin flame aspect, and then on masculine moons, we'll talk to the divine masculine, like we did last month, and like we'll do next month. Okay? So I'm gonna shuffle the Six of Swords into the deck for the divine masculine. Let me bring that energy down. Simply, we have the devil energy here for the full moon. It's very strong. The moon's in Capricorn, so the devil does have a negative connotation. It does not always need to. Okay. Bring down the divine masculine and we'll keep going. And then I don't always call out the cards, right? So the divine feminine. Okay. All right. I just needed to take a moment and step in here. So it's good on the divine feminine side. She has a lot to combat this devil energy, and they are in a stronger position than the masculine, in my opinion, professional. Okay, so I have 11 cards out, and then I'll put another 11 cards down once we do the assessment. So again, hi, hello, and welcome to Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess Gorgeous. I'll be your oracle today. I was sent by the temple to deliberate over the divine partnership energies of the soulmate slash twin flame union. We'll also call it the soul group, specifically the twins, which can talk about a couple different things. Our belief in the temple, our belief in the church, Inner Saint Ministries, is that you are born with a fragmented soul, especially in these times, these periods, like the age of Aquarius, all that fun stuff. Not the new agey aspect, but you're born. Your twin flame is your higher self, and you can anchor that into the physical through a member of the soul group. So there's a difference between ascending and expanding the aspect of your soul. By definition, incarnating into a lower dimension, incarnating into a physical form, you leave parts of your spirit behind so that you can step into the third dimensional soul, the third dimensional body, the physical body. Okay? Remember, every soul has a spirit, but not every spirit has a soul. So the twin flame is very much talking about the spirit having to incarnate into two different souls in order to anchor here in the physical. And if there's a real two twin flame union, since we're in the Capricorn energy chariot card plus the devil energy, the Cancer energy chariot card plus the devil energy Capricorn card together equal the world. The world is the axis of incarnation. talking very specifically about Earth, not the consciousness of humanity, which would be the full card, Emperor, Balance. So this card specifically, I want to say that true twin flame union, true genuine twin flame union, that's not for the individuals in the connection, in the partnership. Because if y'all needed to be together that way, y'all could just go back to heaven. So if you're anchored into the physical, it means you're working, you're being of service. A true, genuine twin flame union will change the environment around it, not just the people in that. You could just get a really harmonic soulmate situation. You can turn it into a life partner situation. Okay, if it's twin flame and it stays together more than a couple months, it's for the environment. All right. So we come in moving out of last month's cycle, which would have terminated. It started on the first second of this month in July with the new moon. As we're moving into this cycle from the last cycle, for the karmic love, it will have been that the feminine, which is on this side, was working a lot more on aligning with themselves. We did get this card. This is like the second time we've gotten this card for this cycle alone. So she's been working on herself. They have been working on themselves, the divine feminine, regardless of gender. They're making movements towards the future by aligning with themselves, working on themselves, finding their purpose, finding their gifts, and moving into harmony, intentional congruency with their physical environment. They've been driving life forward according to, again, practicality, hard work in the physical, slowly. And they are moving through past, present, and future onto a bigger, brighter, better self. Now, there was something that the masculine had perceived. I'm going to read in two stages today, simply because the agreement was that we would do both karmic and twin flame union in the same reading. It's not working. And I want everybody to see for the temple what'll happen when we offer the twice monthly divine partnership assessment. We'll call it the 1111 Divine Lover Series. We're not going to do the two part like we do today. The second part of this will be the extended reading. It'll be free for right now. That's going to shift when we're ready. Okay, so just planting that seed so that you're not stunned and surprised. Okay, so we're moving to this month. The feminine's working on themselves. The feminine is aligning, driving life forward through hard work. They're creating expansion, progress. Now, the masculine had some type of victory. They actually were able to achieve something in this connection. It was rather low vibrational, rather petty, because they don't progress from there. So, yeah, they had a way that worked, but their ways of working in the beginning aren't going to work now. So they're going to need to either break out, break free, or they're going to need to come to bear with the fact that I'm hearing the word deception. Okay, so it's mostly self-deception, not entirely. The masculine was able to do their little thing that they do, and it got them in the door, but it didn't quite get them. It got them through the gate, but didn't get them through the door and inside the house, inside the court, inside the inner chamber. Yeah, they weren't allowed to get to the sacred space. And it wasn't of the feminine's doing. The feminine actually wanted to let them inside. It just didn't work out. Something was prevented. And now the focus on the masculine side especially is anguish, anxiety. The masculine may need to come back and tell a truth. They need to make a decision. They're at a crossroads intellectually. They need to come to reality about what their feelings are in respect to the situation. And I also feel that the masculine is fighting some feelings as well. I'm being told that The masculine has anxiety about coming and committing to being open and available for the truth. They don't want to deliver that. So the sacrifice is, in order for movement to move forward, in order for this offer to be accepted, there needs to be some break out, break free. We need to move to a threshold. Both parties' power in the situation and power in this world need to be honored and respected. There needs to be a mutually beneficial, nourishing needs exchange, and it won't happen. The love is a little bit one-sided in its appearance. That's not true. In reality, there's a healing and a recognition on a soul level for both parties. It just happens later in the connection, whether it's this month for you that are moving into that energy, or it happened in general later in the connection, meaning on the feminine side, the recognition of the spiritual union was there early on, almost immediately. And for the masculine, that knowledge, that recognition came at a later time. 2 sixes in a reading requires the masculine, especially on their side, his side. It would require creativity and recognition of the connection, because there's two aspects of the eternal nature that are playing out in the physicality of their environment. Maybe their creativity that they've had for lifetime after lifetime, or their vision, or their leadership ability. Really, they have an ability to navigate the situation, but since they're not living in divine truth, they're blocked. And it's of their own doing. They're their own blockage here with the energy as it is. So this would normally be the time where we invite you into the temple for the extended reading. It would be according to membership. You'd hit a payment wall, as I would call it. We're going to go ahead and continue with the reading. So I'm just going to make a clean break, if you would. Now, I do want to say on months that are mutable, like last month. We didn't do it last month, but last month it was Gemini season. Okay, the next will be Virgo season. Mutable signs is the actual twin flame to spirit soul incarnated, okay? So that's the next time it will be free and open to the public, other than right now. We may, as a gift, do it next month as well. So let me just find the full moon, which will be the moon card. Okay, I'm going to shuffle that into the deck, like so. Okay, so we had a card pop out, we're ready to go. So we have on the feminine side, oh, I'll read that in a minute. Okay. All right. We have on the feminine side, in reverse, the High Priestess, La Papessa, in reverse, the Magician, and that's in the position of the challenge. So that's Il Vagetto. We have the Hierophant, La Papa. We have the Moon upright, that is La Luna, and we have the Hermit, La Mitia. On the masculine side, we have the Emperor in reverse, the Imperatore. We have the Justice, a Judgment card in reverse, La Justicia. We have the Sun card in reverse, Il Sole. We have the Chariot card and the Tower card in reverse, Il Torre. Now for the shared combined energy, we have the Fool in reverse, and the Hermit, the Hierophant, actually happens to be the wild card for this month. So let's go ahead and choose the sermon. You know, this is very strange. There's a specific message for the feminine, so we'll leave that. And you have the specific message because of the wild card. Okay. And then for the couple, since this is an incarnational month with the Capricorn Cancer energy, we'll use the Nadi Anastasia Cosmic Activation cards for the soul. Okay, and that'll be where the sermon's coming from. And I'll announce the sermon before we move into it. It'll be part of the guidance section. So I'm going to, again, this for those who are getting used to the new content and the change in the temple offering, I'm going to, again, just repeat a few things. So what we first did is we went through the manifest energy. That is typically you get given light and you perceive it according to your own ascension, your own vibration. And light is a vibration of itself, but it's born out of a frequency. So let's call it a frequency vibration. You were given a gift and you were able to use it or not use it, succeed with it or abuse it. And we went through that already. Okay. It was determined what we found was that the divine feminine was not playing the BS story with the divine masculine, that the tricks that they or he, the divine masculine, usually use only got them so far. As we called it, it was, through the gate but not through the door. I decline times 9 on the gate times 4, shut the gate, close the door. I'm hearing that invocation. That's a chant that I teach in the mystery school. We'll talk about that later. Okay, and we entered the cycle here with the feminine working on themselves and the masculine only getting a little tiny iota, a little tiny, very specific sense of victory. On another level, it would have also been that things were working, but it was solitary. They were working for them, not for everybody. Okay, and then when we leave this cycle with a lack of a bond, it's one-sided, and an epiphany that doesn't get acted upon. Okay, the focus for this month is on the masculine side. Okay, let's go to the feminine side first because it'll soften the blow. I'm laughing because I'm laughing, and I'll laugh at you because it's funny. So, on the feminine side, the focus this month is moving towards authenticity of the self with the aspect of spiritual practice, spiritual principles, spiritual laws. So it could be many different strokes for many different folks. I'm just going to pause for a moment. So the different strokes for different folks. Remember, I said spiritual principles, spiritual practices, spiritual laws. Any aspect of those for any aspect of you all. Okay, we have Aries, Cancer, Virgo, Pisces, Taurus. Okay, we have Mercury, Pluto, Sun, Mars, Uranus. Okay, now the cards in reverse, only Aries, would often talk about the opposite sign. It could also talk about the person's rising sign. So I'll call out some sign-specific energies in the moment. The reason I'm laughing a little bit is because the focus on this month is for the divine feminine. Growth, that's the Knight. The Knight is driving life forward according to whatever the suit is. Another word for driving life forward would be progress or expansion, according to the means and methodologies of said suits. So here the Knight of Pentacles would be expanding your spiritual principles, expanding your spiritual beliefs very slowly, having to learn the hard way, because opposing that on her or him or her or them, on the masculine side, he or them, they're doing things the hard way. 9 of Swords. There was an easier way, but you were stuck on stupid, you were hard-headed, so much so that it led you into anguish, it led you into retaliation, attack, you opened yourself up for it, right? So this is a lot of trying the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. We're having to learn the hard way, oftentimes by it being ripped out of your hands, maybe out of your bloody fingernails, maybe you having to be ghosted, having to be ignored, dishonored, disowned, rejected, dejected, things of those natures. That's so. But you're moving towards the truth, but it's like you're fighting every step of the way there. Again, learning the hard way. It's very, very clear here. And then we were told to give guidance specifically to the feminine. So these are cards I very rarely use. I use this mostly with family. It's called Heart and Soul Oracle by Sylvia Brown. This was actually the first oracle deck I ever gifted. So this will be for the divine feminine. she or they, depending on your gender orientation. Understanding greed. Well, I'm going to pause this for a moment. Really, what I'm being told is that, girl, you're just a little bit too horny. Excuse me. Pardon me, please. You have a thirst and a craving, maybe even an itch to scratch. I'll leave it right there. But that wanting, hoping, wishing, praying, yearning, conjuring up some wounding from the past because your vibration is so low. So when you're living below the heart, it's called low vibration. You're living in the past, you're attracting things that would either stunt your growth or regress your growth. When you're living in the future, meaning bigger and brighter and better, meaning above the heart, you're more in your power, you're more empowered, you're enlightened, illumined in some way, aspect, or form. Even if you're high vibrational, your vibration can still be lower than somebody else's. Okay, so there was a lot of hoping, wishing, praying, conjuring up, yearning, wanting to know the secret, obsessing instead of saying, hey, I have this need, I have this desire, it's not being met in this connection, let me go elsewhere. Instead of working on the connection, working on yourself, you might have been working on this other person, making this other person the placeholder for all the hopes, wishes, dreams you had. Maybe they became your spiritual power. Maybe they became your higher power. Maybe you were worshiping them and not worshiping the energy of the higher self and praising them for anchoring that higher self into the physical for you. Maybe you were showing up within what's called an open loop, which is called so the guidance and the coaching happened in the middle of the reading. I still got to finish the reading. So we get the findings. I'll do the guidance in a minute. I'm giving you some counsel here. And what is an open loop? An open loop is one of three things. It's basically when something, the song that doesn't end and it goes on and on. My friend, it's that insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, expecting a different result. That would be the devil too, stuck on stupid. You're in something that you can't get out of. You're in a cycle. Maybe you can't even see the cycle. And if you're lucky enough to see the cycle, you can't get up out of it because you've been giving your power away, or there's something evil involved. And giving your power away is still evil in its nature, but there's difference between demons and devils. Okay? So an open loop is defined by my teachings as an unexpressed objection, an unrealistic expectation, okay, or an unmitigated resentment. So this is the why of the starting this cycle, not able to work on your damn self, excuse my language, because you're focused on somebody else that ain't giving you no nothing, divine feminine. That's what it's saying here. That instead of looking out into the world and saying, what is inspiring me? Okay, now I'm inspired. What's alive in me? What resources do I have in my own house to summon up and marshal? Instead of trying to plant your flag on somebody else's land, on somebody else's field. You can't fix nobody else. You can fix yourself. So if something outside of you reminds you of the ineffectualness of your own nature, that's the working, and that's also the awakening. To realize that if you attracted it into your life, there's something alive in you that was calling it out. Nobody's going to answer the phone if you do not call them. So sometimes we just pick up the receiver and start punching numbers if we don't know about our own vibration, if we don't know about our own spiritual power, if we don't know what's alive in us, if we ain't got nothing to live for, anything anybody gives us is going to be good enough. And we'll be so desperately afraid that they're going to take it away from us because we have nothing alive inside of us to live for. We're living for something and someone else. So now, I'll tell you this. Greed, understanding greed. This is to the divine feminine. Understanding greed. Remember, this is the Heart and Soul Oracle by Sylvia Brown. And who's the distributor? Oh, Hay House. This is a Hay House deck. They don't have very many decks. Hay House. They're typically a self-development book publisher. Greed is an evil in itself and a terrible addiction. It is an empty dream, as material items are only ours for a very brief time. Do not let what you have rule you. Give away, do not keep. So, like I said, he became your personal power. You were worshiping him. And if The divine masculine is the they or her. Divine masculine defined in my teachings by the energy projected out, the physical, tangible aspect of the connection that you can touch. The divine feminine would be what you feel, not what you think, what you sense, not what you see, and it would be more the reflective, receptive aspect of the connection, typically embodied by a female bodied individual, does not have to be. Okay? So he became your higher power, they became your higher power, the divine masculine, and you were externalizing your power. That's called an external locus of control, when something outside of you is controlling or affecting whether you're happy, whether you're pleased, whether you're satiated. So remember that unmitigated, that open loop, that unmitigated, resentment, unexpressed expectation, right? That's the open loop. Because you realize here, divine feminine, that there was nothing you could manifest. Yes, you wanted to manifest a commitment and love, but you could give to it all you want. They weren't going to receive it, and they couldn't even recognize it. And now, if they do come back, because it's a Mercury retrograde, it'll be asking for a second chance, and you're like, this is not an option for me anymore. Because it's saying, do not go on this journey. We do not have a twin flame connection here. We don't have the divine feminine out on the board in the physical. The divine masculine and the divine feminine is both on the feminine side. So this is someone, the divine feminine, whose soul, their spirits have left them. They don't, you never get left behind, but they do take some distance from you. The way the goddess loves you is by taking away the thing that's blocking you from her. Normally it's your health and your wealth. So if you stuck on stupid, stepping off your throne, throwing your crown on the ground, trying to explain yourself to somebody who doesn't even have the wherewithal, the knowledge base, the language structure to recognize a goddess incarnate, your spirit's not going to show up to support this. So it's funny because the divine masculine's out. The divine feminine is out too, but not in the physical. And both you and him, or you and them, divine feminine, is here, but in your mind. It hasn't even come to earth yet. So you're expecting them to be something for you. It's figment of your imagination. All these cards are in reverse. All these cards are dignified. I'm saying all because it's a big word and not every technically card, but it's all negative. The only thing that's positive is the focus. And the focus is stripping you in the physical, but driving you towards your spiritual truth. So we start the cycle off with something not being revealed. And the feminine is distracted from working on themselves or herself because they're focused on somebody else, focused on getting the truth out of them, focused on figuring out what it is. I'm hearing the word psychic detective. It wasn't working. Okay. So then they struggle with a conflict, with an obstacle, with an objection. And it's trying to manifest this connection, the bond, the commitment, specifically the commitment. The masculine is going to have some truth come out that they've been trying to talk about for the last week or so. It was never recognized that there was deception here. So they were trying to manifest something from not having on the facts, the divine feminine. Now the focus is for the feminine towards growth, towards a union. They're waiting for this union. It's not going to come together. Not going to come together. Niguan come. I'm hearing my spirit say that. Niguan come. So this spirit, this connection is not going to come out of the spiritual into the physical. Yeah, Niguan come. So they're cussing this masculine out. They don't like the devil masculine this month, basically. So for everybody out there in a karmic connection, your masculine ain't nothing if you hear in the video in the month of July. Because they don't even know their authentic self. They're not able to give you the bare minimum for this. The bare minimum, the bare minimum, the messages are coming so fast I can barely speak English. The bare minimum in a connection for the divine masculine is to show up, knowing who you are and what you want, and when you don't have the answer to those, you must embody strength, courage, and wisdom for the masculine. If you don't know what you want out of life, it is not time for a spiritual connection to step into the physical. Knowledge of the self is important. It is the prerequisite for the divine feminine. Okay? You need to know who you are and what's alive in you. Self-worth and value is what you need. So the focus on the feminine is finally moving towards spiritual laws. They're trying to manifest a spiritual union, but what it's going to do is bring them closer to their authentic self in the spiritual. The masculine just isn't showing up for this. The sacrifice is to move on. So all of their focus on trying to make this connection work is going to improve them. It's going to make them become an honest, truthful person, if I just jump right to the end. Because all their little ways that aren't working is going to bring them to the truth and the light. But they're going to wake up, they're going to open their eyes, and this connection is not going to be there. Something viable and beautiful and pure slip through their fingers. This is the feminine here. The divine feminine is somebody who's gentle, sweet, kind, loving, devoted. Yeah, young. Yeah, needing to mature. Yeah, needing to evolve. But they're in it to win it. So they're growing through whatever they're going through. The divine masculine is intentionally blocking themselves. They may not say, they have negative intentions that are blocking them, let me put it that way. Because the sacrifice here is for the masculine to move forward and the feminine to realize that, to confront the fact that they're dissatisfied, to confront the possibility of dissatisfaction here, that the offer that they made that's coming back around is no longer viable for them. Because when they do some soul searching, they'll see that this connection is one-sided. It's not an equally beneficial, nourishing, needs exchange. The masculine doesn't show up and participate accordingly, equally, fairly. So evolving into next part of the cycle, over the last 2 weeks, the divine feminine has been doing a lot of soul searching, and it's funny because if you've been thinking about this person, and then the Mercury retrograde comes around, they may very well come back up because we have the Chariot with this Six of Swords. So it's very possible that Mercury will bring them back through, will literally navigate them to the physicality of your environment. It's time to go through the signs. So again, we have, it could be Aries rising, it could be Libra sun, okay? We have Cancer energy, Virgo energy, Pisces energy, Taurus energy. We also have Moon, Mercury, Mars, Sun, and Uranus. So you could have your Jupiter in Aries, you can have your Jupiter in Libra, you can have an Aries rising sign, especially if Jupiter's in the first house there. Okay, you could have, I'm hearing Pluto and Libra, but you can also have your Sun in Aquarius. Now, you could have, that would be really unpleasant, most particularly unpleasant. You could have your Sun in Gemini, but to a larger degree, Sun in Sagittarius, especially if your Mars is there as well. If your Mars is in Sagittarius or your Sun is in Sagittarius, this message is for you. You could have your Mercury in Cancer. Now, your Mars could be in Gemini, it could be in Aquarius, it could be in Libra, it could be in Sagittarius as well. You could have your Venus in Pisces, Venus in Virgo, Moon in Pisces, Mars in Capricorn, Mars in Taurus, Moon in Virgo again. Moon or Venus in Virgo is a strong one, but your moon could also be in Pisces, or it could be in your Virgo could be in Pisces. And then this is mostly Uranian, Plutonian. So the devil itself is I'm sorry, I'm doing magic. Give me a moment. Okay, so I'm dancing across the stars. I'm getting messages that I don't normally get. When I do live readings, it's the messages come in a very intense way for me. So here's the deal. Okay, so let's just say the rising sign is Aries, and it won't be if you have this card. It will be the rising sign is Capricorn. So at 6 a.m. in the morning, when the sun is coming up on the horizon, the constellation on the horizon, ascending on the horizon, will be Capricorn. Now, Pluto in the 11th house, Uranus in the 8th house. Uranus in the 8th house is giving your power away to something else. 8th house, shared resources. Pluto in the 11th house, tyranny over the public, tyranny over the masses, tyranny or shadow or the depths of the collective shadow. Pluto in the 11th. Okay. Now, if Capricorn is rising on the ascendant, opposite Capricorn, okay, so that would be Uranus and Leo. Uranus doesn't do so well in Leo or Taurus. And then Pluto in the 11th, and Pluto in Scorpio is very selfish. Now, on a good level, it would be that you're not going to let anybody compromise your personal power. That it may take you a long time and a lot of struggle and a lot of shadow that is unknown to you, a lot of evil coming towards you. But in the end, you will always win because nobody can step on your personal power, even your own self. But you will suffer until you learn that lesson. It will not be pleasant. And it will unravel you from the inside out, from the depths of your nature, shadow or otherwise. Okay. Now that will be different if it's Aries on the ascendant. So let's just say your own rising sign. I'm going to talk specifically to Capricorn and Cancer because we're in that month right now. So if you're Capricorn rising, how the devil card would affect you, it's just as I told you. Uranus in the 8th house, you'd need to find a way to have your freak flag fly to be out there in the group, individual, and being aware that parts of your nature, parts of your uniqueness, parts of your eccentricity, you can't call yourself eccentric, but I can call you eccentric. Others can call you eccentric. You're going to need to come to comfortability with that being dishonored, disowned, diluted, diminished by others, dejected, rejected by others. People will try to destroy you because you're too different. You're too free. And you'll also freely give the depths of your nature to others. Okay? Unfortunately, God will ensure, Pluto will ensure that in the very end, especially after the age of 44, you do not give away your personal power, period. It is unquestionable. Resistance is absolutely futile, most definitely. In the very end, you'll have to come to terms with the fact that you are a spirit having a human experience. You are not a human having a spiritual experience. You're a spirit in physical form, and that without your individual nature, without your own uniqueness, without the parts of you that are free, you can never fully give to some type of union. And your in-laws will attack you. You'll have a lot of secret battles with people. There'll be a lot of haterade around you. That's Capricorn rising. Now, Cancer rising. For you, Uranus, how this could play out. Well, see, this is most interesting to me because you will be the vessel through which you transform your ancestral line, the root. So if you're a Cancer rising, you will have crazy moments, but it'll be for healing, and it'll be whatever you go through, your whole family will heal. Seven generations on either side of you, into the future or into the past. So everybody's involved, but it's a very personal process to you. You all of your ancestors are around you, all of your families are around you, but you're going through it yourself, and it's for you, even though everybody else is benefiting. Because you will, as a Cancer rising, will also be the vessel for the healing to come through. So the healing for the family 7 generations to the front and to the back of you will be anchored into the physical. The healing for your family line will be anchored into the physical through you, eighth house. If that is Uranus in Aquarius, the creator will be healing the family through you. The job of every Cancer rising is to be there for the family unit. Typically, the ancestors, since not always the people, the bodies in the physical, it can be the whole astral realm. Fourth sign of the zodiac, fourth house rules the fourth dimension, that's the astral. This is where most of the unascended ancestors go. If they're not elevated, they're in the astral, mostly low vibrational spirits. Okay, again, we're dealing with the devil card. Now, Pluto. Oh, so Pluto and Taurus, it doesn't do very well. Now, if Pluto comes to Taurus, typically that's like physical destruction. So if you choose not to heal and if you choose to give your power away and be stuck in darkness because you're stuck on stupid and a man has become your plan and this lover that you're worshiping has become your god, what will happen is physical destruction will come to your life. You'll lose your reputation, you'll lose all of your celestial endowment. So the gifts and the fortune and the blessing and the wealth, whether it's Saraswati, spiritual wealth, Durga, power, Ashe, physical wealth, or financial wealth, Lakshmi, your celestial endowment, what you are infinitely endowed with through birthright as a human being in all the lifetimes before that you've collected, it will burn to the ground. It will become depleted in this lifetime. If you choose not to heal, if you choose to be stuck on stupid as a Cancer rising, what you're saying is, God, take away all my gifts. I know you gave me a blessing, but I'm going to use it and give it to the devil. Please act accordingly because I want to be comfortable. Not whole, not healed. I want to feel good. I don't want to show up to my life and participate. I don't want to grow and ascend. If that's the statement, that's what will happen. Your life will burn down to the ground, including physical. You might not have a house fire, but you'll definitely have a sinkhole open up where your house falls into it. Or a tornado comes through, or an earthquake comes through. That's specific to Cancer rising. So I went to Capricorn rising, Cancer rising. So that was the channeled messages there. Let's go ahead and read the sermon. They're telling me to recap. I don't know why. Grant me a moment. Let me get my bearings here. Another thing, the full moon didn't come out in the root like I prefer it to. It came out in the sacrifice to make for the feminine. So she's been hoping, wishing, praying. Yearning, conjuring up, they, she, they, the divine feminine. And something's culminating, but it's an unpleasant experience. Basically, the light goes out. It's English is hard right now. The bulb goes out. The passion, the fire, the life she's trying to breathe into the connection burns out. There was another card. I can't find it right now. So what I'll do is I'll just do a separate 5-minute sermon. We'll call it a micro sermon. It'll happen in a couple days where I come and I just read one card. And I'll give you a little bit more guidance about the devil for you if you're stuck on stupid or in something that you're unwilling to walk out of, if you're externalizing your power, giving it away for whatever reason, what that means. A lot of us want to justify why we don't have the results that we want. But here's the situation. If something's not working for you, no matter how you feel, why you're not walking away from it? Where did your self-worth and value go? Why are you co-signing a BS story where you're not getting your needs met? Why? Doesn't matter why. It's a rhetorical question. If you have an answer for it, you stuck on stupid. Period. Period. There's no way around that. Okay, if you're saying this isn't working, I've tried and I'm looking for more ways to try, that might be where somebody can say, hey, awakening moment, this might not be working for you. If a person is convinced that this is the solution, but they're justifying why the solution actually doesn't work for them, that's when it becomes karmic. Now, you could be in the process of spending through your karma, still looking to heal it. But if you think that it's for you and you've recognized that the situation isn't healing, hasn't healed, and cannot be healed, and you're trying to hold on, that's karmic. You can find the love of your life. You can find a soulmate. Doesn't mean you get to be with them for the rest of your life. You can find your twin flame. Doesn't mean you get to be with them for the rest of your life. You make spiritual agreements. The first you serve is the Creator. And if you're not serving the Creator, you will not keep a twin around. If you find somebody you have a connection with, and for whatever reason, they walk in front of a car tomorrow and get hit by a bus. They break their leg tomorrow and have to move back home to get, family to take care of them. Whatever it is. If you find the love of your life and the next day, the next week, the next month, the next year, it's not working, it means it's karmic. Now, if you let it go, it's not karmic, it was catalytic. But if you're staying in it because it's something you experienced in the past, or you're hoping to experience in the future, and you're not paying attention to the present, which is where ascension happens, the present, it is karmic. It is karmic if you're holding on to something that isn't working for you. It is karmic if you're sacrificing yourself for something in the future. It is karmic if you're dishonoring, diluting, diminishing, dejecting, disowning, destroying your personal power. It is karmic if you lack self-worth and value. It is karmic if you lack strength, courage, and wisdom. It is karmic if you're escaping and hiding away. It is karmic if you're doing anything other than showing up and participating in the reality of what is right in front of you. So communication. This is from Nadi Anastasia's Cosmic Activation card for the Soul, card number 9 on page 39. I'm going to take a moment. We're going to read this sermon. Go have a piddle if you need to. Take a break, pause if you need to. Ooh, that's not cool. Good. Not good. Okay. So, so this is Nadi Anastasia's Cosmic Activation cards for the Soul. The sermon is coming from page 39. Affirmation: I'm humbled and patient in knowing that to be truly heard, I must first truly listen. And that includes to yourself. If you can't even hear your own thoughts, your own heart, something's out of alignment. To be truly heard, one needs to practice the art of truly listening. Nadi. This card has been revealed to you today to acknowledge the voice inside of you that wishes to be heard and acknowledged. One of the biggest lessons we can learn in this lifetime is effective communication, communication that is clear, that does not assume that others can read our minds. Working both ways, the art of listening also involves being patient and open to the ideas of others. Dear one, at times you do not feel as though you're being truly listened to. This can cause frustration, agitation, and a stagnant whirlpool of energy to build within you. This frustration can sometimes cause you to be indirect, insensitive, or snappy. This energy of frustration and insensitivity then gets passed back to the ones who did not effectively listen the first time around and is usually received as a personal attack. This energy only encourages them to continue not to listen with even more resistance and defiance. This cycle of energy being thrown back and forth continues and becomes more vicious, intolerable, and heartbreaking. Most often, either or both parties will search elsewhere for an empathetic ear to simply listen. It is time to take the reins and break free from the energetic emotional mind games. Communicate truthfully about how you feel and express calmly with love what needs to be said. Give the other party an opportunity to also express their feelings truthfully and allow them to speak freely without interruptions or resistance. The more you practice this art of listening with love, the more you will find others eager to hear what you have to say. You will then go from a place of not being heard to a place of being heard by many. Affirmation: I am humbled and patient, and knowing that to be truly heard, I must first truly listen. Associated chakras are the solar plexus and the throat, and again, the quote from Nari herself was, to be truly heard, one needs to practice the art of listening. And this again is the communication card from Nani Anastasia's Cosmic Activation Cards for the Soul. So, oh, boy. We had understanding, greed, and communication. We have the devil here in the center, and it's with the full card in reverse. So the full card in reverse, when the fool and the devil come together, it's about breaking out, breaking free. We have a reverse card on top of the breakout, break free card, which is the Seven of Swords, by the way. So it's talking about dishonoring, disowning, diminishing, diluting, dejecting your own personal power, giving it away to other parties, other people, places, and things. The devil and the fool typically talk about breaking out, breaking free, but the fool's in reverse. So it means you're refusing to break out, break free, or you're willingly walking into something where your power is going to be given away. Or you're unknowingly giving away your power. Or you're being blocked from starting the journey because something's devilish, which means you'll be stuck. Maybe stuck on stupid, maybe stuck without your personal power. Okay? So you must have first communication with yourself. If you can't hear your own heart or your own mind, it means your spirit is cut off. Your soul is walking around without an activated spirit. That's really easy to attract the devil in those circumstances. If the burglars think there's nobody at home, don't you think you're going to be the house that they pick? And if you're not an evil person, doesn't matter. If you become an easy target, you're going to attract evil. What is evil? It's living backwards when you're not in your highest self. If you're not communicating with yourself, if you're not communicating openly and freely, whatever it is, because the person's going to go into a rage or because you can't, or for whatever reason, karma. Karma, 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 karma. If anything's not working, own up to it, or it's karmic. Period. If you can't communicate, it's karmic. If you can't communicate with yourself, it's karmic. If you're feeling greedy, it's karmic. If you're feeling nervous, it's karmic. If you're feeling anxious, it's karmic. If you're not able to thrive and you are spending time surviving, it is karmic. And you spending time and energy fixing other people and not yourself, making excuses for other people, and not listening to yourself and your own needs, it is karmic. I think I have made my point, but did you hear me? The purpose of a soulmate connection is for ascension. If you're not becoming better, you are in fact becoming worse. Therefore, it is karmic. If it is not healing you, it is hindering you. If it is not healing you, it is hurting you. It is karmic. If it is not evolving you, it should not be involving you. And if you are choosing to stay involved for your shadow nature, it is karmic. Because your higher nature will make you be free. Okay? So it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve you today. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to do so. I was going to extend the service offering last month during Gemini season for the twin flame, the partnership coaching, the counseling, all that stuff, the divine partnership assessment. I wanted to extend it to 5 more week from the 22nd of June to the 29th. I never announced that, so not a lot of people took advantage of it. So what I'll do is I'm still going to continue with the mystery school open enrollment all month. Um, if for whatever reason you don't want to take advantage of the special for like an assessment for the mystery school or anything like that, like it's like 46% off, you can email oracle@priestessgorgeous.org. I'll only give it to the first 5 emails that I read, but you can get a discounted reading for love, okay? But we're only going to talk about love, and I'm not going to be live, so you'll have to list your questions, okay? You only get up to 5, preferably 2 or 3. Okay? So it'll be $72 instead of the standard 162 or whatever it is. And you can email oracle@priestessgorgeous.org because the coupon code in the previous videos it's not going to work anymore, and I don't want to log into the system and change it because it'll mess with the accounting. So if you want to take advantage of this month's special for the Mystery School, the coupon code is Soul Purpose 19, all one word. And that's specifically for the spiritual wellness evaluation or the primal soul assessment. It's 46% off, okay? Until we meet again, namaste, dandavat, and ashe. Take good care of yourself. Remember to smash that like button, comment, share, subscribe. If you know anybody going through a toxic situation, go ahead and forward them this video. And again, thank you for your love. Thank you for your support, continued viewership. I want to welcome all the new subscribers. I want to welcome back all the returning subscribers. Thank you again for your continued support. Thank you again and again for your continued support. Right now, cash donations are greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. The link to that is in the show notes. We're aware that you have other viewing options. Thank you so much for making us one of yours. I know that you come and you put your soul in our hands sometimes, and I want to honor you, and I want to praise you, and I want to thank you for that trust and that bond and that connection and that privilege. It is a true, genuine pleasure. Thank you personally, me, Priestess Gorgeous, Babarada, Mama Blosi, for the birthday wishes. I'm so grateful. Again, the cash donations are greatly appreciated. We will be coming out with a lot of things pretty soon, so keep in tune for the announcement on that. It's nothing financial, but great stuff all the same. So the cash donations are appreciated. Again, until we meet again, until we read again, namaste, dandavat, and ashe, and ha'onoponopono, great family. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I honor you. I praise you. I'm so grateful for you and your support. Take good care, everybody. Arava.